You know what time it is. If you're here, then you definitely know what time it is. Welcome back, guys, to one of my famous, Bleach chapter reviews that I like to give out every week, on Wednesday when they come out. So, I'm excited about this chapter. It's pretty interesting. So, let's go ahead and get into this. Now, this is Bleach chapter 541 entitled The Blade in Me 2. Now, it starts off where Ichigo is having like this flashback, in his mind to where he first encountered Juha Bach for the first time in Soul Society. And he was thinking to himself, like, wait a minute. He said, the first time I encountered this guy, he said, like, for some reason, I can see that, he really reminded me of somebody. Because he looked real dead at this person. He like, wait a minute. You look very familiar, to like, who he was talking about. And he said, of course, it was Zangetsu. And now the chapter goes over to where he's in his world talking to Zangetsu, and he's trying to clarify things with him. And, he was trying to talk to Zangetsu, saying, it's what you're saying is true. And then Zangetsu say, whatever you heard from, Oetsu and Mai, yeah, it's the truth. I'm not really, Zangetsu. And then Ichigo just, like, have, like, basically his mind is, like, all mixed around. Okay, he's still trying to, like, unravel, like, is this whole thing true about what was going on? And then Zangetsu replies, says something like, I am and I'm not Juha Bach. And then Ichigo, like, I don't understand, like what are you trying to say, basically? And he said, like, he's really, the Quincy, as we already know so far, that he was the Quincy power that was already inside Ichigo. And he said at the same time he was neither an ally nor an enemy towards him, basically. So when you think about it, he was kind of like a neutral in the situation, if you want to put it that way. Basically, that's what he was trying to get across to Ichigo. And as we finally know, that he was trying to prevent Ichigo from achieving his Soul Reaper Shinigami abilities, basically. And basically, it's, like I said, all that what he's telling him now is just confusing Ichigo even more. And like I said before, like, he's just trying to unravel this at the same time. But anyways, he even told Ichigo, like I said, do you find it very strange that throughout this entire time before in the past, when you was dealing with trying to obtain your power, that a hollow basically was helping you out. It wasn't Zangetsu himself, it was the hollow helping out Ichigo throughout this entire time. He was trying to tell him, like, do you find anything weird about that? But unlike Ichigo, he's able to realize this stuff until somebody tells him about this, because it's a small percentage of Ichigo actually finding this out for himself until someone really tells him as to, like, what was really going on. And so as we can see that when this whole thing was trying to unravel, Zangetsu in the situation, saying like like, I was even though I had these Quincy powers, like, I'm really trying to bring out the Quincy powers in you. I'm trying to prevent you from using your Shinigami powers, as he was trying to tell Ichigo. Like, he was trying to do everything within his power to prevent Ichigo from ever going this far in his training. He was trying to prevent him from doing that because he really didn't want to see Ichigo fight, get himself in danger, because he was trying to go through this process of getting Shinigami powers instead of actually relying on his own Quincy abilities that he just found out a while back. But he didn't know about that in the past. But that's when Zangetsu basically was trying to pull him towards that direction instead of going towards the Shinigami, basically. So he really tried to make him realize the true power that was inside of him. But anyways, as this was going on, he said, I was just standing back, and I couldn't really fathom the idea that what he was trying to do of becoming a Shinigami. And he said it was going to get down to that point to where if Ichigo were to do this, go through it, that he was going to kill him. That he said, what, I cannot allow this to go on any further. If you do this, it will put me in a position to where I'll have to, eradicate you, basically. And so, while this was going on, he said it was so strange. I think at one point Ichigo said, like, why? Why would you doing this? He said, why do you think it's strange for me to, like, not let you achieve this power that you want? And, to let you basically not get injured or hurt, because, it hurts me to see you get hurt, basically. And while Zangetsu basically was telling him all this, Ichigo was just somewhat like baffled. Everything to him seemed a bit perplexed as to what he was trying to, what Zangetsu was trying to tell Ichigo, basically. Um, but when Zangetsu gave him the details, he finally said, you know what? He said, I finally was able to accept this. If you really wanted to do this, he said, fine, I'll just go ahead and let you do it. He tried all this power to let Ichigo, get that Quincy power inside of him, let him have that instead of a Shinigami. But so I guess he tried to do everything in his power he could. But once he see that Ichigo, he liked this path that he was going through, Zangetsu basically at that point could already, do anything he wanted Ichigo to do what he wanted to. Basically, he said, you know what, that's good for you, and I feel happy at a point to where you finally grasp this power that you truly wanted. And he said, you know what? He said, fine, go ahead and do it. It hurted me in the past to see you go through this whole process, but now, he's letting it happen. He's letting it slide. Just go through it, and they're just having this conversation, just going back through it. Finally, explaining to Ichigo, like, okay, but once all this was transpiring, basically, he said, the whole time that Ichigo, the Zanpakuto that he was using this entire time, was only part of his whole power that he was using. So basically that's more of his like Shinigami side he was basically using. So that's part of his power, basically. And then, finally, in this case Zangetsu, he finally, he said, I'm gonna step back, reside from this. He said, I'm no longer gonna, be here, basically. And then you see his body just start to like, dissipate and all that. And he finally create that sword. As you see, it resembles Juhabak's sword as it starts to form like in a spiritual like Ryotsu in a way. And then Ichigo's like looking at the same time while Juhabak was explaining to him, like, say, you know what, excuse me, but he was explaining to him like, you know what, do what you gotta do, whatever. He finally gave him that sword, and he was finally disappearing. Then he finally tells him, this is the true Zangetsu, your true sword that it was. Not just part of it, but part of what you had combining with this power that you had inside you. They're basically coming together and it's forming his true sword. And you can always see in the Ryotsu, like the ratio like outline of the sword kind of resembles, like I said, Juhabak's sword or whatever. Because we think it's going to be like that, but we're not sure. So, he said, you know what, this is your true, Zanpakuto Zangetsu. And as you see Ichigo looking back, and you see like a flash of light, and basically that was like the end of the chapter. Okay, now let's get into this discussion. Overall, pretty interesting chapter. I like it. It was pretty good. We get to see Ichigo, going to his world, the Zanpakuto world, basically, and explain things. Basically trying to get the true information out of Zangetsu that we know. And basically, Ichigo already heard it enough from Oetsu no Maya saying that, that really wasn't him, and that was an imposter, as we can see. Now, Ichigo knows the full detail, as we can see, basically from last week, and now this is finally putting it together, that we really get to see his true Zanpakuto and what it looks like. Now, some of us probably already know what it may look like, based on our speculations, what it may look like when next week comes out. That's going to resemble, Juhabak's sword because of the guard, how it points up outward, the hilt and the blade shaft and the blade itself, So I'm guessing that's what it's going to look like. Something closely resemble the Juhabak's sword, or probably Hashiral's, I guess, anything similar to that. So, because that Quincy power and it's everything else basically. So, as we already know, that Ichigo is like a giant melting pot of different abilities and his true background and what he is. So he's all just like mixed up. So yeah. So basically, we already know about that. Everything is cleared out of the way. But my guess for next week is that of course, he's going to get a sword. Oetsu is probably going to finish, making a sword for him. And once that's done, and he's going to learn true ability. They're probably going to talk for a while. Now that Ichigo knows sword, Oetsu probably going to explain to him, be true to your true abilities. Master them. keep them in place, get stronger or whatnot, give them a rundown of his new sword, and that this time it's his full powered up ability of his Zanpakuto, not just part of it, but full power. So those two probably won't like talk for the last time, and then this might go on for probably like, maybe a couple of chapters, I guess. Probably him talking to Oetsu and Amaya with a sword getting fixed up and whatnot, and once that's done, they can probably gonna say their final goodbyes, and Ichigo finally goes on to the next palace. And I'm hoping, once it gets to that part, I'm thinking it might be that woman, I forgot what her name was, the one with like the multiple arms and junk like that. Or, and I really want to find out about the other guy's ability, that guy, the beard and all that, the monk beads and whatnot. But I had a few guesses, but, I'm not sure. I know you guys got a few guesses as to what it might be, but, we'll just have to wait and see. So, overall, good chapter. Like I always say, kudos to Kubo. Good chapter. Blah blah blah. I always say that, so it's the truth. But anyways, so yeah. So hopefully for next chapter, the speculations that I had given, hopefully will come true and things like that, and the story would just move on from there. Ichigo getting stronger and stronger at every point, leading up to the main battle of everybody, and hopefully soon later they're gonna go back to Soul Society and check on everybody and see how they doing. I can't wait to see what my Yuri's creation is gonna be like. I know I said it before in the past, but I'm really anxious. I'm really like itching to find out what it's gonna look like. I mean, everybody's waiting to see that. But yeah, overall, like I said, good, everything good. So everything's all cleared up now. Pretty much that's all I got to say for now. But if I miss anything, guys, like I say before in my videos, leave anything I probably could have left out by mistake, or give me some of your ideas in the comments section down below. Give me your best ideas, anything you have about this chapter and for future chapters up ahead. I'd really like to hear them. So, guys, and until next time, see you later.